tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh yeah!
Hey! Welcome. We did it all in tandem. It's the Mysteries of Laura after show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We're talking about episode 12 of season 2. I'm one of your hosts, James Lott Jr. And we're back. You know, this show keeps going on, off. We're here. We're back next week.
We back.
We are back.
We are here.
And I'm not alone, of course. I have the man who has the blunt haircut to go into his blunt talk. Cameron.
Wow, I like that.
I like that.
Okay,
That's
At the only camshaft Twitter and Instagram. We are joined as always by Alexis Torres.
Oh, I didn't get a nickname, but I'll
I was
take
about
it.
to, but
I was trying to think
what
of
is it,
but
James?
I'll say the girl where all Alexis Torreses are sold.
Oh,
Alexis Torres.
Thank you. You can find me at atorres890. That's me.
That's yes, it is you, and we are all
And that's Steven on the board.
and we're all here talking about tonight's episode, of course. But right before we start, just quickly, we're gonna give a great shout out to Jeff Rake,
Oh my God.
who works on Mysteries of Laura. She works with the writers, I believe the showrunners, and she said we discovered there's an MOL podcast on AFTERBUZZ. Loving it. You guys are great.
Also,
me that. Give me that.
Yes, I was going to say we have to do
Ba-bam.
And Alexis got something too for her too.
Yay! Yeah, she also tweeted at me. She was like, "Good eye, spotting that clam pizza thing from season. What was it? Season
1?
Yeah, and I was
1.
like, because I'm a true MOL fan.
So we got
I have
them.
no life.
So we got them on our radar, MOL. So of course, use hashtag ABTVMOL here, and then also you find us on YouTube, find us on iTunes. We're all over the place. Of course, Mysteries of Laura AFTERBUZZ TV.
My goal
That's
is to
right.
get Debra Messing to retweet
Oh, I know.
one of our
Me
tweets
too.
or watch
I
one
would
of our
die.
shows.
I would die.
I would actually explode.
You mean
think I
And
would.
implode at the same time.
Yeah.
It'd be the worst.
I'd be done.
Imploding and exploding would be the worst.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It'd be the mystery of the
Full
explosion.
decedulation.
God.
So we'll go right into the episode, of course.
Whoa.
Two,
Oh my God.
it's okay, kids. I'll just,
Tonight's mystery, what's making James Lott Jr. cough this way?
I mean, I can think of a few things.
yeah, I need me too. Pre-show. Okay, so there were two crazy. There you go. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yes!
I'll be here all week. There were two graphic moments. I mean, like right off the
my
gate in the middle of the
God.
show.
They were so crazy.
Yes.
Mysteries of Laura writers. What
Here's
are you
the
doing to me?
Yes, it was just like.
Here's the thing at the beginning.
Yes.
I love the juxtaposition between somebody going to her son, "Hey, do you want to get yourself killed?" And then 2 seconds later, out of nowhere, bus comes out.
But no, that
boom.
kid will never run into the
Oh, he
street
sure won't.
ever again.
He sure won't.
He is done walking.
Yes.
Period.
It's
He's
unfortunate.
never
Never
leaving
get
the
near a
house.
bus.
Never leaving the house.
Yeah,
Ever.
so a seemingly just guy who's just jogging in place, he's a jogger, gets pushed in front of the bus. We think it's pushed, but it's not pushed.
Well,
We thought it was kicked. But actually,
thought
he was
it was
caned.
kicked.
He was caned.
I have to be honest. Am I the only one that would like really hoped that it was that at the end of the show they'd be like, "Oh, you know what? Look at this camera we didn't look at before. His shoelace was untied."
He tripped.
he
Yeah.
just tripped.
All right, sorry everybody.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be
actually.
crazy.
That would be hilarious.
I
Actually.
would
Love
love
to
one of
see
those.
something like that happen at one point.
I would like a web series of just like, oh, well.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
shoot.
Ah,
He had
crap.
too many Sour Patch Kids. That's what
That's
happens.
usually what ends up happening.
Yeah, that's my story.
Yeah.
And so anyway, his name is Dr. Aiden Silverman.
Yeah.
We find out, and so yeah, he was pushed in front of this bus, and he died. He was dead.
That was crazy. I was not expecting them
Me
to
neither.
show that. I was like,
No.
oh, he definitely got hit by that
We
bus.
watched it twice.
There was a couple
Yeah,
of
we
those
did.
tonight. That,
There were a couple,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that more
Yeah, that's kind of
later
crazy.
on.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get into it in a second.
Gosh, Cameron.
Dang, Cameron.
Jeez.
Cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
the return of Robert Klein as Grandpa / Dad.
Yeah, Robbie.
in his drawers. I
Yes.
was like, can we put some pants on this man? What's
Yeah.
happening?
They're like half-naked
shaking his
men.
leg and stuff.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we had
Jerry
Jerry
O'Connell.
O'Connell with no shirt on.
Yeah.
Or no, him slowly taking off a layer of clothing.
Yes.
So done with that.
It's
So
crazy.
upset.
Welcome to the perfume lab.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I was happy to see him.
He's good.
He's a
good.
good-
Yeah,
I
I
love
like
him.
him.
And this episode, he was really good. He was very kind of touching this episode.
Oh yeah, he was like the words of wisdom kind of guy.
I love the song he was singing in that first
Something about
scene.
shaking his leg.
Shake a leg. Yeah, so it's kind of funny.
good.
So we have that going, and of course, Jake walks in with tickets to the Knicks game, Knicks versus Cavaliers, because of course LeBron James
is that like a thing? Like New York just like loves Knicks tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, like I know
I
in
think
LA
so.
we're the same way with the Lakers,
Yeah,
but I
it's
know
the
some
same
people
way.
who'd be like, I can,
Right.
I don't have to
That's
watch
me. I
it.
cannot give two craps.
Okay.
But yes, but exactly the same thing. Having Knicks tickets, and there were platinum seats, platinum level, club seats. That's that good food and stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What are they saying in the
He's
chat
had
room?
sushi delivered to you at some point.
No, they're talking about my Dragon Ball Z shirt, and I appreciate it.
I love it.
Thanks. What's your D-stop?
No, they definitely. When you go to like club seats, you never been in clubs for anything. You never gone to.
I don't think so.
I went for
a Dodgers
I went for-
game.
Yeah, I've gone to a box seat for a
They
Dodger
serve
game.
food.
But
Yeah.
at the Dodgers game, it was like, you can eat hot dogs.
It wasn't
It's like,
anything
well,
fancy.
come on.
Yes, a little different.
So I had like horrible indigestion the next day.
You had like
I
5
don't
hot
want
dogs.
that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had
did.
5 hot
I had
dogs.
a lot.
That was
Yeah,
a lot
crazy.
of weenies involved.
So of course, Laura gets there and she's so smart. She knows the palms are clean because it's true.
Yeah.
When I fell and broke this tooth, I fell on my hands also, and I scraped my hands.
Broke your tooth?
Yeah, it was
You
like
didn't? Yeah, you
I've
can.
got fixed yet.
Yeah, it's
Ow.
right there.
I'm about to get it fixed, but I fell on my face and busted everything.
Wow.
So, but my
Do you
hands.
get scraped up?
You scraped your hands.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
try to stop.
Yeah,
It's a natural
It's
thing.
a natural thing.
So, but him, he was pushed, so he didn't have that happen, and he was
don't-
looking the other way too when he fell.
But
Yeah.
wouldn't you think that? I mean, he wasn't. It wasn't like he was like he was poked with a stick,
Off guard, though.
right?
Because he was,
Off guard,
he was
but
jogging.
You
Yeah, he was
still
in
have,
place.
but
Very
you're
nice.
still falling. You still have an instinct
No,
to
but
do that,
but
right?
even
No.
but even if it's something that just like when you trip on your own, you kind of you
Yes.
kind of scuttle a little bit. I mean,
Yes.
even though sure you can catch yourself, if it's something completely off guard, you could just fall flat on your face.
But remember, he fell. He was pushed forward in mid push. He was hit by the bus. So there was no.
Oh,
instinct.
that yeah, okay.
Yeah, he
that's
didn't
right,
land
that's
on the
right.
ground
It
immediately.
was a
Yeah,
bus.
it was a bus.
That's right.
Yeah, it was the bus, gentlemen.
I forgot about the bus for a second. I was like, wait a second, this guy got killed by getting pushed?
Yes, he
Damn,
died
what was in that
first.
cane?
It was a
He
bus.
died first.
He died first.
It
yeah.
was a James Bond cane. There's
Yes.
some,
Yes.
Yeah.
So and the iPad. The iPod was open.
Sorry, I was watching you do your
Oh, it's my
jogging
jogging.
because it's lagged
It's
over
like,
there. Yeah.
They said the iPod was missing. I'm like, where's that iPod?
Oh yeah, because they took everything, and I was like,
Well,
that's
that is
weird.
New York. That is New York.
Yeah, well.
But luckily there are cameras in the bus, which all buses and all cities, major cities have
I
cameras.
did not know that.
Well, in LA too.
I mean, LA too, yeah.
In the metro too, they have
I did
cameras.
not know that.
So that was the MTA bus, which means Metropolitan Transit Authority.
Look at this guy.
Really?
New York.
Look at you.
Yes, it does. The MTA
Oh,
bus in New
wow.
York.
Very nice.
I thought it was Manhattan something.
Nope, Metropolitan.
Interesting.
Hey, okay, so Billy's rent. They say you cut to the place, and Billy's talking about rent being raised
Three times. That's not even legal.
Is that, yeah, I was going to say, is that actually
someone in
possible?
the chat, if you know
Yeah.
anything about renting apartments and all that kind of law stuff, can you please put it in the chat? Because I feel like that's illegal.
I
don't
hope
think we
that's
can do
next
that.
week's mystery, like the mystery of the raised rent.
I would like to know because I know my landlords try to do that, and then we were like, no, that's illegal, and he's like, oh, I didn't know that, and then just squashed it.
We had it test in San Francisco once, and we actually took him to an arbitrator, and we got our money back, the difference back. Because you have to raise
Really?
a certain amount each year. in
Yeah.
California law.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's weird. No, because he was trying to charge us because we were dog sitting. And we didn't know that we weren't allowed to have animals at all, even though we asked him before we moved in, can we have an animal? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, we have to raise your rent 2 times. And we're like, no, that's stupid.
Well, the more you know
Yeah.
about...
Stupid.
And Billy,
LA
and so
rats.
now Billy, there's a second purpose to this because he wants to move in with Meredith, obviously. And him and Meredith start talking about it. And Meredith's like, I got my gaming room, I got my other. I mean, she's like, I don't know.
People have to know, especially anyone
tell
who's
them, girl. Tell them,
of my friends and or significant others or family. They know that if I have a headset on, I need a place. I need a room, whether I'm listening to music, I'm reading, or I'm playing a video game.
Okay.
It needs to be my space. Can't be all up in it.
You know what, though? What bothered me about this...
All up in it.
Can't be all
What
up in
bothered
it.
me about this, I don't think, like, this is not a good strategy, Billy, right? So if you had the place, say if it was Billy's place, and he's trying to get Meredith to move in with him, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
But-
weird that he's like trying to put himself.
Right,
into
that's
her
what I'm saying.
apartment.
So,
It's
like,
weird.
she's talking about her place, and he's like, so, you need a roommate and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And it's like,
Is that
I
how
would
he
feel
asked
weird
him?
about
Is that how he
that.
asked?
Hey, Meredith.
Are you Conan O'Brien? What's going on?
Maybe a little
He
bit.
does
But,
do that.
He does
I
that. He
didn't
does
notice
that. He does that.
Um,
Don't you roll your eyes at me. I mean,
but you know what I mean, though? Like, you can't. That's like imposing.
Yes.
Also, this woman just like made you take the love word back. Why are you trying that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I was like, okay, wait, we were taking 2 steps back, now we're getting like 4, 5 steps forward. We're moving too much.
They're doing this thing.
Yeah,
Guys,
I don't
it's
know.
happening.
Come on, writers. So then we finally get to the house. Of course, they had to talk to Aiden Silverman, his now late wife, his widow.
Yeah.
And we first see Grandma. Come on, Eli. Come with Grandma. She's like, they're really close. And so we found Aiden was his stepdad. He was a sport.
rough.
They both are sports medicine doctors, him and the wife. But he got a job. They offered to go for FIFA. I almost said it wrong. FIFA, which is soccer or football in Europe. Football to relocate to Europe for an indefinite time.
Indefinitely.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, and they were training for a 10K. That's why he was kind of jogging.
Active couple.
Active couple.
There's nothing wrong with that.
They're going to go. They're going to meet a consultant about moving abroad, and that's when actually Alexis made a little prediction at that point.
So when Karen's really upset that I've been
I'm
on
so
the nose
sick
about
of
Olympic.
You were on the nose.
I watch way too much television.
Every
guys, that's
time
why.
we watch the damn show,
she gets it.
2 seconds in, she's like, "It's the chef in the back corner," and you're like, "No." And then at the end,
It's a chef in the back
every
corner.
time.
The reason, well, we can get to that. Let's
Yeah, we'll get
continue
to
with
it.
the.
So I'm saying, we're going to know that at that point, I don't know if you guys at home also noticed it right at that point. She noticed at that point who she thought it was. So then she names, but homegirl names a guy, Charles Baptiste, that he was pissed about
my
his son
God.
missing the Olympics based on a surgery that Dr. Silverman did. And he was like really hard on his son, and he's just really pissy.
That's the one thing that drives me up the wall as a person who used to teach like 3-year-olds to 12-year-old kids how to do martial arts, whether it's just kicking a bag or actually learning how to get away from a person. I've met those parents who are just like, go, and like, because I would take the kids to tournaments and things like that, and they're just hard hitting.
As a person who
Yeah.
raised a child, I've seen those parents too.
I used
I've
to
seen them.
crazy to me.
umpire Little League baseball,
Oh, okay.
and I saw this on a daily basis.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
it's amazing.
Ridiculous.
It's
Absolutely
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It's insane.
And that's why those kids now grow up and like have therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
True
I mean, this
Yeah.
poor kid, like a couple weeks out of surgery, and he's already doing stuff in
Yes.
gymnastics?
Yes, but I'm happy to see it's Harold Perrineau from Lost and Oz fame who plays
Oh my
the angry
God.
father.
Oh, that's right.
He was
Great.
lost, and he was on Oz. That's what his first.
Yeah,
He was the wheelchair
yeah.
guy in Oz.
I don't
Yeah.
think I watched Oz.
Oh, Oz was the
I
best.
was really
recognize
good.
him from
Ooh,
Lost.
Oz was
really
like
good.
something else.
It was.
It was like, it was always in the opening credits. It was like TVMANLSF.
Yeah,
it was
like
like
you had-
every letter in the book was in it.
It was alphabet soup.
Yes,
for
it
that
was.
show.
I was like, yeah.
whoa.
Yes, it was
Not,
crazy.
not Dr. Oz, right?
No.
No.
Okay, all right.
Oh God! Can you imagine if Dr. Oz was like that? It would be really scary. All right, we're gonna
Just want to
operate.
make sure. Yeah. Whoa, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz. So we get him screaming at his
Mystery of
son.
Lore. Very good, very good.
Screaming at his son. And of
Oh,
course,
so ridiculous.
And of course, when Meredith comes with Laura, he tries to take a swing at Meredith, and she takes
And
him
I'm just
down.
like, what in your? I told this to the guys. What in your right mind goes, hey, there's a lady with a badge. I'm going to swing at her because she grabbed me. How dare she?
I know, just too
Get
much.
out.
I know. And so they pull him in, of course, and he tells Jake, because Jake's like, well, he has still have a chance for Olympics for 2020, because it's 2016 right now. I got 4 more years. But then he pulls something out that was like surprising to everybody. He's like, wait a minute, there was a restraining order on him, of course. But he goes, I apologize to him.
I love how both Santini and Laura were like, what?
Yeah.
But he
was like,
apologized. He said he went to the lawyer's office. He can't see him, obviously, because of the restraining order. Brought a bottle of wine and an apology letter.
Well,
I
There you
still
go.
want to know what kind of wine it was, though.
he said it was
showed it, but
very
it was too
expensive.
fast.
Yeah, I couldn't
It was
read
very
later.
expensive?
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
very expensive wine.
Yeah, but I couldn't
don't
see it
know
either. I
if
was like,
He said if it was like Robert
Guys, I don't know
Mondavi.
anything about wine. I want to do that safari wine tasting
Ooh,
thing
that
in
sounds fun.
Malibu.
That sounds
you get
fun.
to look at animals and drink wine.
I'll do that
on
with
a,
you.
on
I'd
a
love to.
Jeep.
I'd love to do that.
In Malibu up there.
I would
you see
love to do that.
zebras and giraffes and all that crazy
Monkeys?
stuff. Yeah,
I don't know.
all the thing. I mean, I'm a little afraid because you guys told me about zoo.
Watch the monkeys.
But
yeah.
but yeah, there's like a whole thing up there. Sorry, I
Oh,
didn't mean to.
right.
I'm not like sponsored by them or anything. I read about it today.
So, meanwhile, we got Billy and Meredith trying to get Jake to give them a ticket because Laura doesn't want to go. She's
Laura,
like, I
yeah.
want to go.
She's like, eh.
Yeah, whatever. So to Nick's game. So they both like, I gave Jake lunch, switched him for lunch, and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
Jake
And
good.
Nick's
Yeah,
good.
we love
Even
Jake.
Santiani got in on a little bit. Like, he's a great father.
I was
and-
like, what's going on? Is everyone just riding the Jake train? The Drake train.
Oh,
Also the Drake train.
Yes.
Sorry, the Jake train.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, so But did Santini really want the tickets? Or
Yeah,
was
she
just
did. She did too.
She?
Yeah.
She wanted to.
Oh, okay.
I was just kind of surprised.
Because she said later on, I'm being serious.
Yeah,
You know.
but she's kind of loosening up a little. Her and Laura got
Oh yeah, you can see
which
it
we
now.
called it earlier in the season. We know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to side note: if you guys out there don't really know this, because Cameron realized this halfway through the episode.
Oh, here we go.
This is a remake of a show that was a
I forgot we
Spanish
talked
show.
about this.
It's remade for American television. So it was, I forgot the exactual. Make some names up. Exactual.
You make some words.
The name of the actual show, something Misterioso.
I believe Misterioso
De Laura.
de Laura.
De Laura.
If anybody knows the chat, you can tell us. I forgot the real name that it was from the Spanish, but it's a remake of a Spanish show.
I did not know
Just
that.
like with Ugly Betty.
Yeah, Ugly Betty was
Was
that
that...
too.
Wait, what?
Ugly
Betty was a Spanish
La Fea, Betty La Fea was what it was called.
Yeah,
in
and then
Spanish.
they made an American version, and it was Ugly Betty.
Yeah. Oh my Jesus. Okay,
What
we'll move-
else is
God.
this?
We'll move on.
Oh my God, we'll
So we
have
meet
a drink and we'll talk about
Yeah.
it.
So we meet the lawyer, and I don't even know her name, just some lawyer chick. And she actually relates the same story, and actually flashes the wine
Yeah.
and says all this stuff, and, but mentions that bio dad, Kurt, is disputing custody.
Kurt,
which
of
she
course.
which she didn't even know about.
No.
Had no idea.
Which
Like, how do you dispute custody
I find
without?
it hard to believe.
The wife says
Yeah.
he didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Like
But-
he was disputing custody before letting her know that he was disputing custody. That sounds dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Grandma was all like, "Screw that!" She was going off.
That was my implication. Was right
Yes.
there. I was
Oh,
like,
she went off. He was a
how-
loser.
See, I feel like I just need to be more perceptive to those type of things.
It was
because
more-
I did not notice that about the grandma.
Well,
Like I knew that she was upset, but
Well, in my brain, we'll get when we reveal who it was.
Yes.
Obviously, we've already said it. I'll go into my thought process
Yes,
because it's
there you go.
weird.
yeah, okay.
And then just a cute little side note, because we always notice all kinds of things. Max had the papers printed out. He just showed us, and he goes, he used biscuit for his page.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Paper.
And I was like, what does biscuit paper look like?
I know, I love it.
I was
I'd
like
be tempted to
like
eat it.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds good. So Kurt is part of some weird men's group called the Men's Renaissance. I've got the last part.
Los
Association. But
Oh, she has it.
Misterioso de Laura.
Oh, I was close. No, I was right.
Yeah,
I was
you were
close.
close.
Okay.
That's what it was called. Thank you,
Okay.
Diane Sutherland.
Come on, Diane.
Thank you,
Go on,
Diane.
girl.
Get it, girl.
Go on,
Yeah,
girl.
so how
Girl.
about this? How about this organization? By the way,
Oh, yeah.
these exist in real life.
And we know they
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
so they blame women for everything, basically.
which is
Yeah,
terrifying.
Which is crazy because we have feminists and then we have the other spectrum, but it's so crazy to me.
And apparently Kurt
There's a
spends a lot of money
staunch
there.
difference between feminists and this. Though.
Yeah, of course, but you know what I mean. There's
But
always
some
there's always
feminists blame
No.
men for everything.
everything, and I'm like, you're wrong.
Some do.
And I'm all for my ladies. You
Yes.
guys know this. You know this. But there are sometimes yes. But I also know at the same time I'm like, you got the crazies and
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
You're just
So-
being stupid dumb.
And so, of course, again, another person, Greg Grunberg.
I love
So
him.
do I. Of course, from
I loved him in Heroes.
Star Wars:
Well,
The Force Awakens.
Well, that's the most
Sorry.
newest
But of
one.
course, Alias.
Alias,
Hello.
he was
Yeah.
in Alias.
Yes.
I liked
Heroes.
him in Heroes.
He's very J.J. Abrams.
I love him.
Yeah,
kind of
which is
universe.
great.
Yes.
I'm so glad because he kind of like disappeared off the face
Yeah,
of
he
the
did
earth
for
for
a
a little
while.
bit.
Yeah, he did.
And then all of a sudden he showed up in Force Awakens, and I was like, ooh.
I know, it's like
I
Me too.
screamed when I saw him.
Me too. I
Yeah.
can't.
I was so
I
excited.
squealed.
I squealed.
I was like,
Yes. So he is Kurt Berenson. So he's the ex.
he played. I mean, he's
The-
usually pretty good at playing
Yeah.
the angry role,
Yeah,
but
he's
like I
good.
also love him as the lovable role. But
Me
this
too.
one, he was
Yeah.
like, he was a major
Yes.
butt.
It's funny because even when he's angry, you're like, I kind of want to hug him.
Me
But yeah,
too.
I
know,
wanted
me
to give him a
too.
hug, but
I
also
think
punch
he
him in the
needs a
nose.
hug.
I know.
Maybe
But he,
just right in the throat.
Good old hug punch.
He's like, ugh, and then
Hey, here you
love
go.
yeah, like one of those. But he played his role really, really
Yes,
well.
he was,
did.
And he was a speaker that apparently that night when he came in. He was a speaker.
How lucky is that?
Come on, Cameron. Think about that, Cameron.
Here's the only thing I want
Here
to
we
say.
go.
Here we go.
Moving back to Greg for just a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen him without facial
Been
hair.
a while.
It's been a while.
It has been a while,
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, now that you
Yeah,
mention
it
it,
has
because
been a while.
even in Alias and in Heroes, I think he didn't have facial hair.
he
Right.
did.
So I'm wondering if new Greg has facial hair.
He's big on Twitter. You should ask him.
Ooh, I will do that.
Yeah.
Yes, he's big on Twitter.
like it.
Guys, tweet out at him and let him
Yeah.
know that we're talking about him.
Yes, exactly, guys.
Please,
Tell him.
please, I would really appreciate it because I love him so much.
I know. I'm
He's so great.
He's
So
great.
only camshaft, A Torres Late 90, and Black Hope LA.
Please tell him the things.
That's right.
Go
You love
homework
me.
for
Black
today.
Hope LA.
You love me.
I do.
Okay.
Too much.
So, I love you too. So apparently he says when he stands there,
Why would-
my ex was leaving with my son out of the country, my problem is gone.
Why would you do that? If
Probably
you know
not
that
a
he
good
was dead,
idea. Probably not a good idea.
No,
Yeah.
my problem's gone.
Why would you do that?
Tar in his hands.
I got a bad feeling about
Thank
this.
you.
Exactly.
Oh my god, it's so
See?
frustrating. I was like,
Yes.
please stop.
So of
Damn
course,
it, Greg.
Laura pulls him in. They have Laura talk to him. Of course, he's rude. Totally rude because
He
she's
was
a woman.
hella rude. I was
She's a
just like,
woman.
whatever. You know
Yes.
that this woman can kick your
That's
butt.
but Jesus.
It's funny because even when like you think he sees the bad, he dials it back.
Right, no.
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 Rude as hell.
I'm like, you can go to jail forever.
Yeah.
And you're okay with this? Like, screw you.
Yeah.
With it.
But he says he's working on a roofing job.
I mean,
And-
he wasn't wrong.
No, and then they have a famous Gloria Allred type, but male version. I'm not a big fan of hers. And that's my opinion, of course. Kostos Andropoulos.
Costos and Rapos.
So he was the lawyer who comes in and shuts that all down, and it does turn out he was working on the roof of the Hamptons.
Kostos is
Kostos, Greek.
a crazy person.
He's
I
I mean,
I love
you are
whenever he
correct.
entered the room and Laura said, "Who are you?" and he goes, "You know who I am." And she's like,
no,
"Haven't a
No.
clue."
I love it.
I love that. I mean, but you
my
can see she's
God.
trying to fight back a laugh, though.
Shade,
And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
So
yes,
tasty.
Yes,
Shade
yes,
is
yes.
real.
So tasty.
So Laura, meanwhile, we see her send a text to Tony. He's
Yeah.
like trying to get together with her. She's like, I can't, got a case. Then he's like hungry. She's like, always. I mean, that's our girl, Laura. That's our girl.
Heck yeah.
Now, we find out also at this point, the victim had paving tar on him, not roofing tar. So that's something to keep in mind also, folks.
I didn't know there was a difference.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I would have never known, but that was another clue where I was
Yes.
like, oh, it was paving.
Tar.
And she mentioned earlier about on her sidewalk. We'll get into that.
So they.
Wow, I did not connect those dots.
I did.
She did.
I did. It was
Jeez
really
Louise.
terrible.
So then they deduce that the Jim father, I still don't know what his name was.
The Jim Dad?
Yeah.
I think it's Jim Dad. Jim! It was Jim!
No, I
Jim
don't
the
remember.
Jim.
I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name either, but they go, well, since he was picketing out front, passing out flyers,
Yeah.
that he may be able to see who's been hanging around.
And we saw George.
But see, first you see, like, they show the pictures, it's like, it's not Kurt, he points to George.
George.
Yeah,
And I
because
was
they
like,
figured
what?
he was going to say Kurt.
Vasquez. Yeah.
George Vasquez.
Yeah, and I
Vasquez.
thought that was weird at
That
first. I
was
was
weird,
kind of
too.
like, what?
And they go to his apartment, and I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys at home.
Oh my god.
All of a
I was
sudden,
scarred.
because the first time they walk in, this is very New York. There are a lot of New York apartments that don't have elevators.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to take the stairs.
Like the stairs. And they're like, oh my god. I thought it was going to be a funny moment. And all of a
Okay.
sudden,
That was crazy.
Jumped
but
out of nowhere.
But the bad part,
Horrifying.
usually what they do is they usually show her falling and then
Yeah.
they cut
You
back
hear
to
the noise.
You hear
No.
the noise and then you cut
No.
back to the face. We saw her fall and hit
saw
her
her.
head.
Yeah,
Yes.
from
From
like
s-
below. That's terrifying.
yeah, I
looking.
know. She was like, ah.
I don't
And
like
then,
that.
like literally, you can hear
Ooh.
the crack and the
I know.
thud, and I was
Yeah,
like,
she's dead. She was dead.
Mysteries of Laura, what the
I
crap?
know. I'm like, this is a
They
9
pushing
o'clock
it.
show.
They're pushing it.
I mean, I'm cool with it because there's, like I said, there's a few shows on network television now that are just pushing
Well,
boundaries.
as he
Which
knows,
is-
as he knows from Zoo, I like gore. So anything with
I
gore
can't,
makes me happy.
I'm so squeamish. It is the
Oh, really?
worst. But like, it was different because you could tell that it was happening, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. But like, if it's straight up like Saw stuff, I can't do it.
Wow, how funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
But it
can't
was just
do
funny.
it.
This was out of shock. It was just kind of like, and she's dead. And that was
Yeah.
Tracy Vasquez, the wife of George.
Of George
Which
Vasquez.
I had to pause and be like, wait, what's going on?
Right. And it's like, so he had a
lot
wife.
going on.
And so it was like, okay. So then Tony comes in with sandwiches. And Jake.
So upset.
I was like, we're pissed. Don't even get started with this
We'll
whole
get
part
there.
storyline.
We'll
We're
get
gonna
there.
get there, kids. We're gonna hold hands. We're gonna get there. But Jake actually gives the tickets
Just
to
adding
Tony.
more to the
I know.
Jake
so
knew
sweet pile.
exactly
knew
what he was doing.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
100%.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, really?
He knows.
100%. I'm Jake. I'm gonna give the tickets to him so that Laura notices I do the small thing.
Oh my god, I hate it so
Yeah.
much. Even
This-
you just impersonating
Yeah,
it, like,
exactly.
He knew-
deceiving with anger.
Yes.
It's the worst.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
And so he asked Laura to
Playing
go, and Laura
stupid
says, "I'll
cards.
go." So they're gonna go. So that's.
You know what? I wanted to see Billy and Meredith's reaction to that.
Yeah.
We never did.
No, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
So George is a helicopter pilot, and so he was in the air at the time of the murder.
Yeah.
And so that's already taken. There's usually flight manifest and stuff, so that's already whatever.
Yeah.
But he didn't fly yesterday. So they come up with something that's one of my favorite Hitchcock movies of all
so
time.
good.
Strangers on a Train.
Strangers on a Train is such a
You
good
kill
movie.
my mother, you kill my wife. It was a whole. I love that
It's
whole
such a
movie.
good movie.
Great
I
movie.
was hoping
Farley
there would be
Granger.
a,
Farley Granger. I love it.
I was hoping there'd be a tie-in to the Birds as
No
well.
birds, no birds,
That'd be
no
nice.
birds. No birds.
Love that one.
Yeah.
So they do this whole thing where basically they realize that Kurt wanted the ex dead, and George wanted his wife dead.
Wife, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So almost like just kind of like work that out. Well, Laura pretends and bluffs, which is great. She has a little form in front of her, and it's just basically it's a field trip permission slip.
But she's talking about DNA tests, and I was like, oh, snaps.
Which, by the way, can you do that?
What?
This is something that's happened a couple different times where they're faking what they're saying.
I guess they can, right?
Interrogating.
I think
Can
to
they do
a
that?
point. I think to a point they can bluff to get them to say something if they know that their cards are right. Because what's the harm in that? Because if it wasn't them, then they're just like, okay, now we have to start over.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know.
I
mean, I believe in the technique because obviously it worked,
Yeah.
and probably so in real life. But I just have always wondered if that was actually
We need
a
to find
thing
a cop and ask him, or detective and ask them.
Detective, right? Yeah, I don't know. And so, but it works. Kurt admits everything. He
breaks down pretty quick.
He breaks down really quick, and he didn't want to do it.
He was already sweating.
Yeah,
without
he
his
was.
lawyer there, I was like,
Right. It was like too late.
I'm about to crack open.
So Bailey and Meredith go to George and tell her he's dead. That was the worst acting job. Oh my god! I just left her. She's alive.
I was like, I want to like puke. I was like, huh. It was so terrible.
And he tries to run until a helicopter is flying away. I'm like,
What was he gonna do
how
with
far
that?
are you gonna go with that?
Yeah, you're gonna fall and you're gonna die.
I also like that phrasing. When I was with her, she was alive.
I know that made me laugh.
What?
Why was
She's
that
alive.
important?
I was like, it's just like.
I mean, yeah.
That's
Right.
great. Thank you for
Right.
that. That has nothing to do with what.
Right.
That's like me, Alexis coming up to me and saying, "Hey, have you seen James?" Yeah, I saw James a couple days ago. He was alive when I saw him.
Is he dead now?
Just FYI.
No, he's not dead.
He
Why
is
would you
living.
say something like that?
Right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. It
Come on,
made me
George.
laugh.
Freshen up.
But George playing when he pulled him in, he seems as a lie. He goes, I considered it. But he was having breakfast with his MRA members, other members, and Laura's like, wait a minute, he was too tall.
Yeah,
He was really tall.
he was. He was extremely tall.
So there was a crowd at the corner at the beginning of the show. So like he would have.
Oh yeah, you would have seen him immediately.
So they go, okay, but then of course he gets home. Grandpa is watching cross promotion.
Oh yeah, blind spot. I was like,
another
oh,
NBC
dear.
show.
Oh my word.
But all the tattoos, the girl with all the tattoos. So yeah, boo. And then Laura says, she's talking and realizes that he's staying longer than he should have because he's getting his house power washed. And he said it was done 3 days ago. He stayed longer.
I was gonna say, I was like,
But he was so cool. It was like I really missed all the time I've had with you guys.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to miss it anymore.
I'm just glad that he's back in their lives. It's just the one thing which we'll get to about Laura later is that she's a very hardened woman, so
Yes.
Yeah.
she holds on to everything.
I hope that we see more of him, though.
Yeah,
I do.
He's good.
I
He's really
agree.
good. Rockhart's good. And so then he says something about if ever gets between me and my daughter, they'll have cement shoes. And she's like, wait a minute. Because Laura's smart.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, Grandma. So they go and she's in the cast. She's using a cane, but she's a grandma who swims, does yoga, which some of us grandparents are still young enough to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can do
yeah.
that. And she's close to her son. She remembers that. Close to the grandson, and she remembers that. So they go to the camera to another bus.
An earlier bus.
Earlier bus. Which I'm thinking, because it's New York. How many? I mean, they had to go through a lot of buses. To
They
find-
probably did.
It's a lot of us on
Had to
one
go through
street.
a lot of
There's
footage.
a lot of time on
MTA
it.
11,
It wasn't
MTA 12,
exactly a Google
M13,
search.
M14. Yeah, it's a lot of buses. And
M15?
M15.
Okay.
Every borough it starts with an M, or like it's B14 for Brooklyn, Q, so all the buses are kind of done that
I
way.
didn't know that.
Thank you, James.
I always give New York tips on the show, always, all the time. And they found her. She used her cane to do the thing. Nowadays, they're more like you press
To stop
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say
pull
there's a-
cord.
the-
yeah, pull cord. Usually
Yeah.
just straighten up, but that was kind of funny. She had like a little pink thing on it. And so they pull her in. And she's already crying before it even
did it.
I know, because she knew that she did.
Here's the thing. I have a question about this.
Yes.
Okay.
See.
She's in a group of how many people when she does this?
Look, there was a nice little crowd. I would say 20. Crowd of 20
Nobody
maybe.
notices that she pokes
The
the
bad thing,
with the
the
cane.
bad thing that I noticed when I was in New York was that
see.
people are just.
I was just gonna say
They're
that.
either looking at their phones or
Yes.
they're looking at
I
things.
was just gonna say in New
Okay.
York City, especially in Manhattan, it's just
No one's
Alright.
paying attention.
it's be
I'll
eat
buy
or
that.
be eaten. It's
I'll
like
buy
you have to
that.
walk with the crowd. You can't walk against. It's like it's just kind of hustle.
It's kind of
Okay.
crazy how people just move.
I know.
Like,
and
I don't know how
and
they
I
do
learned how
it.
to do it because I've been doing it since I was like 11. But I learned how to do it. She was like, "Get off the train or whatever," and I was like, "Okay, get in line." And you just kind of kind
Yeah,
of do it.
it's,
So
I was
no one would
lost. I
notice.
was sitting there bumping into people and stuff. They're so angry, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I've never been
So no
here
one would
before."
notice. No one would notice.
Yeah,
I buy that.
She was in the crowd. She just kind of did.
kind of just did it.
Stuck
did
in
it.
between other people, I guess.
So
Yeah.
there was paving tar on the bottom of her cane. So
Yep.
it matched. So bye-bye. She said her husband had Alzheimer's, and couldn't
She didn't want to go to
leave.
jail.
She
Yeah.
wanted to leave him, but she didn't want her baby to leave either.
I know, but I was like, now you're
That's
going to jail
not
and you're
the
not
way
going to be
that
able to
makes
see
them to
anybody.
stay. Yeah.
So Alexis was right. Grandma did it.
So my deduction, if we have time, really quickly, is that
Deduce.
every time if it helps, every time I've watched any of these not mysteries, but like any of these crime shows, it's always the person in the beginning, in like the first 10 to 15 minutes, mostly 10, is the one person that has a couple lines, and then you don't see them again. Maybe again one more time, but they only have like 3 or 4 lines, and then you never see them again until like way later in the show. That's the one clue I have. 2, I noticed that he had that small bruise. So in my brain, I'm like, either that someone kicked him with like the tip of their shoe, or it had to be some sort of blunt objects to push him out.
Yeah.
So when I saw her having a cane, I was like, oh, maybe she used the cane. That would be interesting. Also, she also knows the map because the map's on the fridge. And she doesn't want her kid to leave because she's a grandma and obsessed with her grandchildren. And then eventually they're like, "Oh, we're looking for the tar." I said, "The tar is probably at the bottom of her cane. They just haven't seen it yet."
There you go. I know.
And that's how my thought process works.
So that just happened?
That's just how my thought process works. I take every character that we're introduced to and I figure out reasons of why they did it or why they didn't do it.
At that rate, I'm just going to assume one of the boys did it next time.
I can't help it.
They're in the house.
As a person with
That one on the right.
I blame my anxiety. I overthink everything.
But it works.
Miscreant.
Yeah, it's true.
Miscreants.
I'll take it.
Okay, I'm going to try that next time.
Yeah, take the character that's just in the background but
Least
speaks
talked about.
randomly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the person that did it that you weren't paying attention to because they only had 3 lines.
There you go, kids. You guys agree in the chat room? Are you going on there?
But now, yeah. Oh yeah, no, we're all good here. They're talking about New Yorkers and stuff like that.
New Yorkers.
Yeah, like they're just talking about how like they don't stop and they're just kind of going.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the crazy crap that happened at the end of this episode.
Real quick.
Yes.
I'm going to give everybody a hashtag. Hashtag 3-line giveaway.
Oh God.
We're going to test this next week.
Okay.
Hashtag 3-line giveaway. Watch the show next week. Tell us if you found the person who has the hashtag 3-line giveaway. We're going to see if Alexis's method is clean, if it works.
I mean, I will admit it though, it doesn't work every time because I've been wrong before. But
I don't know if you have
from watching Castle, all the Law and Orders and this show, I've usually been on point.
You practice
usually.
Yeah.
Okay, you do.
I'll just start pointing shit
so
out.
you were saying.
Anyway. But yeah, yes, I want to talk about this. What happened with Laura and Tony because it was
one second.
BS.
One quick thing. Billy and Rent are moving in.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Do you think it's too fast?
Too fast.
Too fast?
Way
fast.
too fast.
I think so too.
I think it's weird if you consider the context of the situation because 1 or 2 episodes ago, she made him take the love word back.
Like, okay, so you're okay with him not saying I love you, but you're okay with sharing a space with him?
Yeah.
That you're going to see him every day at work.
They kind of go hand in hand.
And at home. There's no break now.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But here's the deal. In real life, people are that messy.
No, I know.
Yeah, so
and
It's realistic on some level, I guess.
No, it makes
true.
sense, but in my brain, I'm like, I don't know how, the bad thing is with time, I don't know how much it passes from episode to episode.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's a good question. That's a good question, too.
Sometimes it's like right after like a major talk, and then sometimes it's like 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm just like,
I don't
what?
either. Okay, let's talk. We have like 5 minutes to talk about the thing that we
People
all.
are like, I don't want to talk about it. Or Diane's like, I don't want to
We
talk
don't
about
want to talk about it either. We have to. It's a
talk
major
about it.
plot point.
I'm so upset.
I am pissed. I'm upset. I am not happy.
I might curse.
You might
Just
curse.
warning you now.
Curse warning. Curse warning.
I will do it. I am upset. I am upset.
So
Nut up or shut up.
that's good. So Laura comes home. Jake is cooking.
Of course he is.
Dad's playing cards by himself, and when he hugs her, says, "Let yourself be happy."
Gross, but
Damn
she
it,
was
Dad.
happy.
She was
happy.
fine.
Oh,
You've been a very good boy.
it's not even fair.
And Laura goes meet with Tony.
that?
Right
I don't know
before,
that.
I think Cameron wants to know this
Wait a
person.
second.
And then,
But right before a Knicks
yes,
game,
yes,
that he's been waiting for you outside.
Douche move. Go to the game, tell him after.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Lord above.
I would have
Yes.
rather done that. At least have some memories, some good memories
Have
before.
some drinks too.
I mean, I'm glad that kid got to take the tickets with his dad and they
Yeah.
get to have a good night. That's
Yeah.
great and all, but like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
but yeah.
And when I love his line, "You are one messed up lady, Laura Diamond."
Because she is.
She is.
And we're done.
She's broken to pieces.
Through that chick.
Guys, that ending of the episode, here it is, was a piece of shit.
Yes. Exactly. Oh.
I did it.
It
It wasn't
is.
that bad, but
No,
still.
it is. We're all very
Piece of
upset. Tony was a good guy, and he
He
really
didn't deserve
sacrificed
that.
it. He didn't deserve it.
I understand what she was trying to do was like, go to Vegas, go do thing. I'm like, you should have said that earlier instead
Yeah.
of stringing him
Save
along.
him 6 months for
Yeah,
crying out loud.
exactly.
God's sakes.
Exactly. I don't know why they did, because they're bringing on. They said they're bringing on a chick for Jake.
Yeah, so I don't know when that's going to happen.
So maybe she's about to admit it, and then all of a sudden maybe she just shows up.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
God.
That's totally what's going to happen.
I'm not ready.
And they'll get together in season 6.
I agree with everyone in the chat. They were like, hashtag so over it.
Yeah, same here.
Hashtag boo, hashtag so over it.
Boo, hashtag boo.
I can't.
I know.
I mean, I'm not like saying that they shouldn't be together. I just didn't like how it was handled.
Yeah,
she just all of a sudden, because people were talking about how great a guy Jake was. He's always been a great guy. You've just been holding over his head that he's been cheated. He cheated on you.
I know.
I agree.
Hell to the no.
Thank you.
That is right.
Thank you. It's BS. I don't like it.
And that's Mysteries of Laura tonight.
That's it.
Mystery of the Morning Jog.
Wow.
God, kids, I know.
I can't.
We're gonna have to talk about this online. Of course, use the hashtag ABTVMOL on YouTube. To comment, rate us and like us on iTunes and comment. So go to AfterBuzz TV, find all kinds of shows, but find us out, and we'll continue the conversation. We'll mourn together.
That's right. That's right.
Now, tell them where they can find you guys.
Oh, well, you can find me at The Only Camshaft, Twitter and Instagram. Follow our podcast in the iTunes store or where podcasts are found. And while you're there, search The Cameron Lewis Show. James Lott Jr. was on it this week. It's a very fun episode. Alexis is going to be on it very soon.
Yes, I am.
And Alexis Torres, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me just for James. We're all Alexis Torres are sold at Torres890. I'm hoping to get my vlog back up and running.
Yes.
Because I'm working on it. Also trying to think of new ways to start gaming and streaming online. So I have my Twitch account up. I've been trying to do that a couple times.
I like that.
Trying to find a day of the week to start streaming my video games. Just talking about it.
Nice.
Shoot the shit. But yeah, do that.
And for me, I released an episode of my web series, A Lot in Los Angeles, today. You go to my YouTube channel, Super Organizer James Lott Jr. See it. It's also on my Facebook page, A Lot in Los Angeles. It's a fun little episode about 11 random things about me in Los Angeles.
All right.
It's
Very
fun.
nice.
Also, tomorrow night on Black Hollywood Live, our sister network, our brother network, I have my show Breaking Into. On Friday, it's the premiere of my new version of my radio show on AdrenalineRadio.com at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you.
Yes!
Yes, and then on Sunday, it's our year episode, anniversary episode of Dish and Days.
Wow.
Alexis
Holy
knows about
crap.
it. It's been a year.
I started with that.
So I did it on Sunday. Follow me at James Lott Jr. everywhere and Black Hope LA on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye, see you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.